Welcome to Palace of Versailles, the symbol of powerful French monarchy and also the place where the famous Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919. Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, his young wife, lived here in unbelievable luxury. But beyond the walls of this palace, the entire France was living in poverty. And then one day, France had had enough and the mob crashed into the Palace of Versailles and forced the king and the queen to flee to Paris. And as we know, in Paris, both the king and the queen were publicly executed, which led to the downfall of monarchy in France. So come with us as we explore the history of Versailles through the walls of this palace. As you enter the palace, you encounter these beautiful statues which are from the 1600s. So I asked ChatGPT and it told me in very simple terms that the horses of the sun rise from the water, which is a tribute to Louis XIV, the Sun King, and his power over nature itself. Saw the chapel from outside, but we would get an opportunity to go inside as well. This chapel was a symbol of the fact that the religion and the monarchy were one. So as you keep moving, there is a room which gives you history of the Palace of Versailles and then how it was constructed, started by Louis XIV, and then how it kept on advancing until Louis XVI. So I just learned after the revolution, even Napoleon I tried to make Versailles an imperial palace but was unsuccessful in doing so. And in 1830, this palace became the museum as we see it today. More paintings in another room. So apparently, before it was a palace, it was a hunting lodge, and then it was converted into a palace by Louis XIV. There are multiple rooms, one after the another, and all of them talk about the history of Palace of Versailles, the architecture, and how it was built. This palace draws huge inspiration from Greek and Roman mythology. Louis XIV was a sucker for these mythologies, so you would see Apollo, Venus, Mars, Hercules drawn, sculpted everywhere. And of course, he himself believed to be like Apollo, the sun god, and that's why he's known famously as the Sun King. You can also visualize how it would have looked like in the 1700s. I also like the fact that there's a lot of text provided by the museum, so if you don't want to get an audio, you could actually get to know enough about the palace without overwhelming yourself. Now we are headed upstairs to the most famous room, Hall of Mirrors, and also the state apartments are upstairs. So when you arrive upstairs, the Hall of Mirrors is not obvious. You still have to go through multiple rooms, and all of these rooms are filled with paintings and furniture. Interestingly, as we walk through so many rooms, I just realized that there are about 2,300 rooms in Palace of Versailles. It was built not only for the kings and queens, but servants, office, clerks. There were so many people who worked in this palace. At its peak, there were about 10,000 people working from Palace of Versailles. So as soon as the endless rooms end, you get to see the beautiful chapel, the Royal Chapel, which was the last chapel built by Louis XIV. This is also the chapel where Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette got married, and surprisingly, the king always sat on the balcony, which was symbolizing the fact that the king is above everyone else. It was the hierarchy, and that the king got power from the gods themselves. So right now, when you actually look at the chapel, you would be seeing it from the point of view of Louis XVI. This is also the chapel where the mass happened every day at 10 o'clock, again symbolizing the fact that the religion and the monarchy were one. Wow. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Just look at the ceiling. This is the breathtaking Hercules room, and it was started by Louis XIV but finished by his son Louis XV. The idea behind this room was to overwhelm all the visitors and the nobles who come here and to show the glory of King of France. This was a room which was built to impress the world and to gently remind everyone that the king, just like Hercules, could become God. That's a statue of Louis XIV. Just look at how he resembles Hercules. This is the room of Mars. Mars is the Roman god of war. So this room was supposed to symbolize the power and the strength of the king. As you can notice in the details, there's helmets, chariots, paintings of war, etc., which was supposed to remind the visitors of the power and strength of the king. Also in the ceiling, you can see Mars on a chariot, again symbolizing war. I'm in the king's chamber and it is so beautiful. It is so royal and it is dripping in luxury. It's not just a bedroom, it is literally where the day started for France and ended for France, because the king had a ceremony whenever he woke up and before going to bed. So he would actually do this publicly. Just imagine. He also has sun on his bed rest, again symbolizing his obsession with the sun god. Clearly he was called the Sun King for a reason. All of the ceilings here are painted in Baroque style, and the painters had to be on scaffolding for months in order to create these paintings. So definitely when you're walking through every room, don't forget to look up and admire all the beautiful ceilings. And all of these ceilings tell beautiful stories about mythology, so do remember to look up. Now we are entering in the most important room in the Palace of Versailles, which is the Hall of Mirror. This is the room where the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919, changing the course of world forever. Interesting fact about this room, there are 357 mirrors. Now you would be thinking, what's the big deal about that? But at that time, mirrors was super expensive. And most of the mirror making technique was in Italy. So France even poached a lot of mirror makers from Italy and brought them to France in order to build this room. Point of adding so many mirrors was to reflect light, and again it symbolizes the god sun. So whenever the king walked past, he was supposed to shine because of the reflection of the sun and then overwhelm all of the visitors. If you're curious like me, you would be wondering, how come all of the rooms just lead into each other? Was there even concept of privacy? Well, in fact, all of these rooms are just ceremonial rooms, as in the kings and the queens did not really live in these rooms. They had private apartments, and somehow all of these rooms were secretly connected to the private apartments. We might see something later, but having said that, these rooms were created just to show the power of Versailles. Now we are in the Queen's chamber, and I'm honestly speechless. It's so pretty. Just make sure whenever you're here in this room, don't forget to spot the secret doors. Now, some people say that these doors were used for servants so that they're not using the main areas, but also some people say this is the exact door that the Queen used while fleeing to Paris. So you could see two secret doors here, one on the left and the other on the right, so we're not sure what is the right theory. Even childbirth was a public activity. For example, on this bed, the Queen gave birth to kids in front of the court just to make sure that the air is real. Now we're in Antechamber du Grand Couvent, which is, in my opinion, a very interesting room. It is slightly underwhelming compared to the other rooms, but this is the room where the royals actually ate in public, meaning that they would eat and countless people would watch them eating. Everything in the Palace of Versailles was a performance. No wonder the French Revolution happened. Now we are in the Queen's Guard room, where the best of best security guards were present and they used to protect the Queen's chambers. And this is exactly the room where the mob infiltrated. They also ended up killing 2 or 3 guards, but then thankfully the guards informed the queen in advance, and the queen was able to escape through the hidden door in her bedchamber. Now we are in the coronation room, which surprisingly does not celebrate the coronation of the king. Here's a famous painting in the room. Famously, Napoleon snatches the crown from the Pope. Now we are in Saleh 1792, which is a room that honors who fought for a new France after the fall of monarchy. So this room is actually quite patriotic, and it's a big symbol of the fact that Palace of Versailles is not just for the kings and queens and the royal family, but also for the public. This is beautiful stairwell between where we are to where we are going to go, which is the Gallery of Battles, and the ceiling is just beautiful. The carvings are immaculate. Now we are getting into the Gallery of Battle. It's beautiful, and the back-to-back paintings to come to this room for the architecture and the paintings. King Louis Philippe actually created this gallery. This gallery displays 33 huge paintings celebrating the military of France. This was a gentle reminder to France that France is more than the kings and queens. And that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed walking with us through history of Versailles. This palace is a stark reminder of how even the great kingdoms could fall. I hope you liked this video and found it informational. I will see you next time.